Sorry. She's
Oh, that is fine. That is mommyhood.
Yes, it is. Mom on the move.
Hello, 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 everyone. I want to thank you for joining us for another Great Money Monday. I am Rosalind Brown of Your Wealth Guidance, where we help Black women create their financial independence map and identify the tools for success so you can live life on your own terms. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss any of our future speakers. I am super excited about our speaker today because it really touches on a number of different things. And so many people are thinking about where they are, if they want to stay there, especially being in a large city or an expensive city. And then I often hear ladies say, well, I can't, I have to wait until my children get older. Or I'm just concerned about uprooting my children and so forth. So we have Courtney Love, who is a married mom of five on the move. And I loved her story. She actually had one of her babies abroad. So we'll get a chance to hear a little bit about that story. But she always had a desire to have the freedom to work from anywhere in the world. And I know a bunch of people, especially, folks talking about return to work, all this stuff, people are like, yes. So her love for traveling and business began at the age of 12. And since then, she's visited many countries and five continents. In 2020, she went on a solo journey to Africa. And while there, made the decision to create a life that her and her family never needed to vacation from. Soon after returning abroad, she completed aesthetic school and opened a natural beauty spa called Boutique World. That's Beautiq World. Our motto is love the skin you're in. So they teach clients about the benefits of not just healthy skin, but also an overall healthy lifestyle. So we know the healthy lifestyle will give you the healthy skin. We love seeing these Black women that are 80 looking like they 40. So we hope to be those women too. And so one, like what was the impetus, especially as a mom, to pick up and say, you know what, I'm gonna go on this journey and figure out if this makes sense for my family.
Well, first, thank you for having me, Rosalind. I'm so happy to be here and speak with you and your audience today.
Thank
So,
you.
my journey began a while, maybe 10 years ago, when I first had a desire to live abroad. I was presented with the opportunity to move to Israel. And at the time, I had no idea about living abroad. I just knew I moved from my home state of Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. And I just knew that it was something else. Like it was just a feeling inside of me, like you need to make a change, Courtney. Like it's something is happening. Like, you just got to do something different. Well, that didn't work out, but it always was in my gut to just see the world, see other countries, and the quality of life elsewhere outside of the United States. And as I traveled, I started to just discover how free freeing it was to be somewhere where you didn't have to worry about the politics of certain places, crime. At that time, I had two children. So, and one is a boy. So I'm from an inner city, and I was really, on the hunt just for a safe space for us, my family and I. So, in 2020, when I visited Africa, that was the most liberating trip I had been on thus far at that time. And I made a decision at that time that no matter what, I was going to do what I needed to do to create a life that I never had to vacation from, my family and I. I've been in the beauty industry since 2010. And not having guidance as far as in business, because none of my family, I'm like the first entrepreneur that I know in a couple of generations. So I was spinning my wheels with my beauty business that I opened in 2010. I had the funding, but I really didn't pivot like I wanted to because I didn't have the proper guidance and I didn't have the systems in place. So, with experience, good and bad, and just I had met my husband in that time, and he's a marketing guru. He really has helped me build my business solid with a solid foundation because that's what anything starts with is a solid foundation. So during that time of just figuring out what it is that I really wanted to do and where we wanted to be, Africa was the main focal point. We were actually in East Africa. We visited Kenya and Tanzania. And I loved it. And I was doing so much research, joined the expat groups, just really divulged a lot of my time in looking at videos of like how to do this, how to really make this move. Let me back up. In 2019, because I was really on that edge of like wanting to do something different. I went to Puerto Rico, and this was the beginning of 2019 before I started my aesthetic school. I spent a good time in Puerto Rico, maybe about 2.5 months. And I liked it. I think I liked it because it wasn't the mainland. I had the beaches there, but Puerto Rico at the time was very unsafe. But I was still like, okay, it's safer than where I actually live. So I think it was God because around that time, a lot of earthquakes started to happen. Like it was over 80 earthquakes around that time in Puerto Rico. So I was like, I don't want to deal with it. That's why I've never been to move to California. We experienced one in Washington, D.C., and it was not fun. So that kind of deterred me. But I still had the urge to like do something. So after Africa, of course, that's when C19 began a couple of months later, which didn't stop me from traveling and seeking the life that I wanted. So I came back in 2020 from Africa, and I was going to different trade shows in my business. So I was over in California visiting Las Vegas at a trade show as well. And I found out that it was just this big something happening in the world. So I'm scared at this point because no one knew what was coming next, right? And where we lived, the beaches aren't closed. No one was really growing their own fruits and vegetables. And I was just like, what is my family not going to do? At this time, it was just 4 children that I had. And my husband and we were just like, we have to do something. So we went on vacation, what we thought was a vacation, to Florida. And my oldest daughter, she was in medical school at the time. So she was still in Washington while we went on a vacation to Florida. What was supposed to have been a vacation actually turned into a staycation while we were there in Hollywood. We found us a nice apartment on the Intracoastal in the beach. It was amazing. We got to see the life, yachts sailing past every day, the luxury cars. Like we really had to shift our mindsets, right? That wasn't something we saw on a daily basis in Washington. So while there, I had finished aesthetic school in the beginning of 2020. So while I was there, I said, well, let me make the best of this and go back to aesthetic school to get my master's aesthetics license. So I used that time to fill in the spaces, and I got my license for aesthetics in Florida. And we only signed a 6-month lease while we were there. So when it was time to renew, one of the reasons why we went to Florida is because it's Florida. It's supposed to be hot, right? Good weather, good temperature. No. The temperature was like 30 degrees in December and January. I had found out, around that same time that I was expecting my baby girl, which I had. And I told my husband, our last child we had, I said, I don't want to have any more kids in America, no more children in America. So what I did, I started, everything was kind of still closed, the borders to a lot of countries. So I never stopped traveling during C19. So I was looking at all of the countries. I looked at a map. That was the first thing I did, and looked at everywhere that was close to Florida. And I had previously been doing business in Colombia, in Cartagena to be exact. So I saw that Cartagena was only 2 hours away, and the flights there, the one-way flights, were $50, right? So I said, well, Hubs, let me take a trip to Cartagena. I knew a little about it. Some of my colleagues were there, dealing with the manufacturers there. So I said, well, I told them I was going to come and visit. So let me just go. And that's what I did. Myself and my 2-year-old at the time, we went just to scope it out. My husband stayed because we had still had our place in Florida and we still had the place in Washington, right? But I said, I'm not going back up north. And, let's just see where this goes. And thankfully, Cartagena was a great experience. It gave me what I needed, which was warm weather. I needed a better cost of living because the place in Florida we were paying $2,100. We had our place in Washington just for the base rent was $2,300, not including all of the other amenities plus the utilities. I had to break away from that. The rat race was just, I knew for a long time that it was another way to live, a freer way to live. And being a Cartagena was the most freeing that I had felt ever in my life. And I end up being there maybe about a month, going to different areas, staying in, different hotels and Airbnbs just to get a feel for the area that I wanted to live in. And we ended up finding a great place, a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, a block from the airport and a block from the beach, residential area, close to everything that we needed, perfect. And get this, 600 USD.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, with my eyes closed, you only pay 6 months in advance? Perfect. That's how I felt at the time, was like, okay, this is what we want to do right now. So being there was good. My family ended up coming, eventually, probably a month and a half later, we all were there together. And Cartagena was good for us. We got to really explore different cities in Colombia, Medellin, Bogota, Barranquilla, Puerto Colombia, and just learn more about the Afro-Caribbean culture there, right? But when it came to me being an entrepreneur, it was kind of difficult to think I was going to establish myself there. So after being there for 18 months, it was kind of feeling like I was in a limbo, which I needed. Like at this point, I had just had the baby in July of 2021. And, after just being home with her, I was like, I got to get out and just start getting back into the motion of things, I love helping women just feel beautiful about themselves. And I had took a break from that. So in March of last year, well, let me back up. I had started getting a lot of inquiries because at the time when we moved, no one was really traveling. So we did like a jump and, shocked a lot of people at that moment. So I had received a lot of inquiries about Cartagena, travelers wanting to visit from America. They were asking me questions about living in Cartagena. So we had created a blog kind of on Instagram, and we created a YouTube page just to kind of document our journey a little. I got to be more consistent with the YouTube. I am. So, it gave me a push, like, okay, it's a lot of people that are considering that leaving America. They don't like the conditions. They are, just feeling like they're spinning their wheels. And I said, okay, let me be a vessel for these people, you know? So we were really helping a lot of people when they came over, just curating trips. Some that wanted to relocate to Cartagena, we assisted those individuals, but we were over Cartagena. And in March of last year, just on a whim, I took my husband to the Caribbean, the Dutch Caribbean, for our anniversary, the ABC Islands, Curacao to be exact. And we loved it. From the time we got off the plane, it was like, where has this secret gem been all of our life? Which we had looked up Curacao 10 years ago. And like, we wanted to visit because it's said in a lot of articles that it's like the best beaches in the world. So we were like, yeah, we want to go to all the best beaches, the Zanzibar. Yeah, we want to go. But I didn't realize that Curacao, where it was situated, it was so close to Cartagena. So when I looked on the map again and looked at the flights, I said, okay, we're going here, because it was initially I was going to take him to Peru. So when we went, we loved it. We got off the plane and we just saw people that looked like us. I mean, I literally saw someone that looked like my mom as soon as I got off the plane. Like, oh my gosh, this really feels like home. It gave us nostalgia. And we spent maybe 3 days there, and we gained a lot of information that we really wasn't looking for. It was just synchronicity that was happening. And we learned about the treaty that the U.S. have with the Dutch and the cost of living, learned that, how many languages are spoken here, just a lot about the culture. So when we got back to Cartagena, it was all, okay, how are we going to go to Curacao? How are we about to plan this? Okay. So from that day forward, we were online, we were contacting realtors, and I can say, trying to go from the US to move to any country while you're still in the US is not easy. Having someone that's on the ground that can assist you, that you trust, is the best way to go. And I was resilient, though. Even though no realtors reached out, I went on YouTube, trusty YouTube, and I put in houses for rent in Curacao. And the house that we live in right now is the only house I found.
Oh my
My
goodness.
husband, yeah, my husband got a text message. We double teamed him. I sent him the email, and we were like, look, this is our house. I even saved his number as our house. I claimed it, right? The other part about Curacao is that they accept US dollars. So that was the thing also about Colombia, is pesos. So even though it's a low cost of living, if I was to go and offer services, I would be doing it for like a third of what the price is of what I really charge. So to know that they accept dollars here and you can charge dollars, that was a big plus for us when it came to doing business. So in June, we made the move to here, and we have just put our boots on the ground. We have a transportation business that my husband and my son runs. I just opened my first international beauty spa here in the center city of the town. And we're really, the kids are going to school, thriving. They're learning 4 languages. And it's really been a great experience being here, just really learning the way of life outside of the US. And we didn't have any expectations besides we wanted peace and tranquility. We wanted a life. We don't even lock our doors at night. I cannot tell you the last time we went and locked our doors. And I honestly forget, because you lock it from the inside. and with the key, and we honestly forget to lock it. But that's how safe we feel. And now that we don't have to worry about, because at this time, before I left Colombia, we sold everything in Washington, D.C. Everything that was in the storage in Florida, we had it shipped to here to Colombia. I'm sorry, Curacao. So we didn't have anything that was still tying us there. Besides our children, we have two children still in school in America. But other than that, it was like, okay, now we can really focus on what's important. Family, just having our unit and one, being aligned holistically and having the financial freedom to have an option, not someone tell us this is what we're supposed to be doing, but making a choice on our own and deciding this is what we're going to do. Even if the plans change, the decisions that we made, they don't. So that's where we at right now. We are here. We are thriving on an island.
I love it. Someone said, what languages are the kids learning? And definitely as kids, I'm sure they're like picking up stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they come home and speaking to me, like, I'm like, what did you just say? Oh, I asked to use the bathroom. Okay. So here, the language is Dutch, Spanish, English, and they have their own native language is Papiamentu, which is a mixture of French, Portuguese, Spanish, and what's the other language? And English. Because when the slaves came here, Curacao is where it's strategically located. When the slaves came, they had to learn how to communicate with each other. So they created their own language, and that's the native tongue here. It's Papiamentu. Basically, all the ABC islands speak Papiamentu, and in Cape Verde. So yeah, the kids are learning really well, and the beauty of that is Papiamentu is very close to Spanish. So they were already in a bilingual school in America. And then when we moved to Colombia, we were immersed in it. So my husband been fluent in Spanish. My son became very good at Spanish. So being here, it was easy to kind of pick up on the language.
Oh, wow. I mean, you are
Yes.
knowing multiple languages make them so much more powerful in whatever journey that
Yes.
they choose later on. So that's exciting just for them to see that development for them.
Raising polyglots.
Now, because one thing, and I know you went through the story of kind of like place by place by place. And when you shared this with me, I think it's one of the bigger fears that a lot of people have, because you said you had your last baby abroad. And so, like, tell us about what that experience was like.
It was actually an experience, to say the least.
And especially because you
However,
have experience, you've had children in the States versus abroad. And so kind of the difference in the two, and you've already said you're not doing it again, but
well, no, I'll do it again. Not in Colombia, but I'll do it again. I want another baby abroad. So in Colombia, anywhere you go, when you decide that you want to live in another country, you have to get to know the locals. You have to get to know where you are. So, and that's what I did. I just was networking, and I asked one of the ladies that I first rented from if she knew of any doctors that spoke English. So she referred me to a doctor that was great, basically very close to where we live. And I would go visit him. He was great, really attentive, great care. However, I went to America. So I started going to see him, I believe, in February. And I went up 2021. And I went to visit America in, sorry, my eyes are watering, in April. And I was only supposed to be there. I was surprising my friend for her wedding, but end up being there like a month and a half. So when I got back to Columbia, I went to see the doctor in Washington while I was there. But when I got back to Columbia, I know the doctor was probably because I left right before one appointment and then I missed the next appointment. So I hadn't seen him for two appointments. And when we got back, like the next day, we had like a little staycation at a hotel there. It's called the Estelar in Cartagena. Great hotel, Estelar. And while I was there, I had like pre-labor pains. So they had called, the hotel was very good to me. They called the ambulance and everything. And I get to the hospital and they put a bar through the door. Like I'm walking up in pain. So I'm going, like I couldn't even go off. Like my husband's like, what is going on? Like she's in labor because that's what we thought. I was having contractions. So went to probably two different hospitals. No one saw me. No one would see me. So luckily, I went back to the hotel and the doctor came and it was false alarm. So the next day I scheduled an appointment with my doctor that was there. And he informed me that, and that's as an American, just thinking that every place is like America. You could just go to the hospital, can't do that everywhere, it's a protocol. So he said, it's no problem with them servicing you, but they needed to know you had a doctor, basically someone that was going to pay. And luckily, he's like, it's good that you have been seeing me and everything like that. So I went to see him and continued my visits with him. And everything just went on smoothly. And I believe it was 2 months after that, went into labor. I had a nanny at the time. She accompanied me to the hospital. And for some reason, the last two deliveries were like 30 minutes. I wasn't, soon as I got there, I was 9 or 10 centimeters and pushing the baby out. So, it was a great experience. The doctor was amazing. It's no nurseries or anything like that where they take your baby. And to be honest, I wouldn't have want her to have been in a nursery anyway, away from me in a foreign country. So, and I had the nanny that was there 24 hours. So overall, it was a great experience. I had a great doctor. And it was maybe for everything I paid, I think we paid 1,000 USD.
Oh my gosh.
So, that.
Like you can't beat that, especially to have, your doctor there. Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that. And I think a lot of people are always like scared and worried about that. But, your experience, it's the one part you didn't know. And I think that's always great to kind of share, to have a doctor, to have someone to call, to know the locals and that kind of thing makes a big difference. But other than that, there was nothing, negative about your experience overall.
Nothing that I can say besides them putting the bar through the door, which I thought the world was about to end. Like, okay, I gotta have my baby outside. But besides that, I really enjoyed it. Just giving birth abroad. It's a great experience to know that, on my baby's passport, it's like she was born in Colombia, and from there she's in Curacao. So she doesn't know America. She doesn't know that way of life. And the children, to hear them say, oh, you want to go back to America? They're like, no, have grandma and grandpa come here to visit us. My dad actually left. My dad was here for 2 weeks. So that's what I'm really glad is that we're somewhere that now, because I didn't have a me, whether when it was first going to Colombia, I didn't have anyone that I could go to that could tell me the ropes and, what to expect. And even with the expat groups, it's not the same. 1 second, please.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Oh, the baby.
Oh, the baby.
I don't know why. She probably heard my voice.
She's like, oh no, you were talking about me.
Yeah. Her name is Mi Corazon, my heart.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you. So, just overall, being away from America has taught me to have patience. It's taught me to really know what's important, and to focus on that, and to really, divulge my time wisely. And for me, it's my business and helping other people that desire a life that we are living now. So that's where we left to live, was birthed from. Just, we left America to live. We wasn't living, we were just existing. No matter how much we had accomplished, acquired, we were existing. We were spinning our wheels. And since being almost 3 years in on this expat journey, it's hundreds of people that have reached out that are sick and tired of that way of life. So I am the example. I'm here, just to be a person that can say, okay, you should make that move. You should consider this. If it's in you, you can really manifest and make it become a reality. And it just takes a little bit of planning and preparation and discipline, and most of all, courage. It takes a lot of courage to leave your comfort zone, to leave everything that you know, to leave your support system. All we have here is each other. And that's a lot. I have a strong family unit, but it's just us, So that's scary, but it's also very freeing, because if you're a law-abiding citizen and you want to add value to wherever you go, and that's how we are. It's not about, it's about living a better quality of life, but it's not about extracting from these countries, taking away. I want to add, because they have an abundance in South America and Africa and Central America. It's an abundance. Whether it's, with the textiles industry, whether it's with the agriculture, it's an abundance that in America we are not privy to. All we know is made in China. All we know is fast foods. It's another way of life to live. And I just want to be the example for others that you can do it no matter what your circumstances or your situation is. I'm a mom of now 5 children. I just celebrated my 40th birthday. So no excuses. It was like, we got to make this happen, because we have to continue to evolve. And being still is good sometimes, but you have to elevate and continue to evolve, continue to pursue your goals, continue every day you present it with opportunities. Every single day, it's an opportunity that's presented to you. Whether you recognize that opportunity is up to you or not. So we recognized opportunities, and we didn't have a lot of time to sit and be twiddling our fingers like, is this a good opportunity? Yes, it is. Now, let's do it. Let's make this
opportunity. Now, this is a good question, and you talked a little bit about this when we were chatting. Tonica says, do you help those who want to move there from the U.S.? And I know you talked about your aunt, was it, that you were like, come on down?
I think, I'm like, I'll need to put me on the tourist board or something. Because, everyone says, like, you're supposed to be a tourist, a guide, Yes, to answer your question, I've helped 5 people relocate here in 7 months, and 10 have visited. So in Curacao, even though it's a beautiful island, lots of culture, rich history, all of that, great place to visit, right? It wasn't a tourist destination. They didn't care about tourism up until 3 years ago. Their main industry is an oil rig here. They have an oil factory. So that was their main source of economics here. and that closed down. So when that closed down, and then with COVID happening, they had to go back to the drawing board. So then they started making a big push for tourism. So cruise ships come here, at least 2 or 3 cruise ships, sometimes a day are here. So tourism is huge here. Yes, I would love to assist anyone that is looking, whether you're just wanting to come visit, if you're looking to acquire property and get some land, if you're looking to just be a remote worker, it's definitely opportunities for you. If you want to retire in Curacao, the qualifications are not out of this world. It's really doable. So I would love to assist anyone that is looking to relocate or just come visit. I'm here.
And I know a lot of people know, like people know Colombia as a not so expensive place to be. People know like Mexico. What is it in terms of Curacao? Like, is it a more expensive place? Can you live affordably? Like you were living in Colombia. What should people expect if they're thinking, maybe I should put this on my, might visit list or, house hunting trip?
So it's more expensive than Colombia, but less expensive than America. They their currency, it doesn't fluctuate. The dollar to the guilders. The currency is called guilders. It stays the same, like 1.75 or something like that. However, it's still relatively low to live here. Now they have this is an exotic island, so they have exotic properties. So our place, I live in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. I have noni trees. I've grown aloe. We have neem. I have the natural berry that give you the henna. So much that's growing right here. All of my neighbors basically are growing pomegranates, plantains, bananas. My neighbor across the street, she has a hydroponics farm. So I'm surrounded by farmers. Our rent here is 800 USD.
Oh my goodness. So even not that much more expensive than Colombia.
However, utilities are way less in Colombia, but you would get a lot of blackout. Not a lot, but enough. It may be at least once a month. So if you're working, remotely, that could be a problem for some people. But now I think they just changed the energy grid because Colombia just became a remote work visa country. So in order to be a remote work visa country, your internet has to be of some standard.
Yeah, so you can
remotely. I think it may be better in Colombia now. So it's a difference. In Colombia, we had the carriers that will come with their carts in front of the house, bringing you fruits, vegetables. I mean, you get everything for like 5 USD, bananas, a whole watermelon, strawberries, mangoes, any fruit that you can think about, but you didn't have access so much to the farmers, although they're out in the bush. Versus here, all of my neighbors are farmers. So again, it's about networking with the locals because, of course, ding, 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 who's came here and made their mark here? The Asians.
Oh, wow. I mean, they're going everywhere.
Except Colombia. They're very limited in Colombia because Colombia, you can't even send fabrics to Colombia. They don't have made in China or, they keep everything within their country. They really keep a tight knit on, how they do business. And that's a good thing to me. So, we pay a little bit more for utilities and food, but it's a way of life. It's still nothing compared to what our expenses were in America, but the difference is we can charge US dollars here.
So that makes a huge
even if it is a little bit more, I'm able to work in my field. We're able, to really thrive and do and be what God has called us to be here. So that's the difference, and that's like a pro to me. Even though it's a little bit more expensive, we're still in a better position here. I'm so sorry. All the babies
Oh
going
no.
on.
Well, I think it's one thing because you started a physical business. And I think oftentimes we hear about people who start virtual businesses. And so just thinking about the difference between the two of actually having a space and promoting it to the locals and so forth, how is that process there?
It's a learning process. I it is. But what I do know, no matter where you go in the world, every woman loves to feel beautiful and look beautiful. And we could teach a lot about applying makeup and covering up your natural beauty. But who's showing you how to take care of the skin that you're in? You know, your skin is your largest organ on your body. So, and the sun is very prevalent here. So, you know, when you're uninformed about just certain benefits of and disadvantages of
Hmm.
being in a tropical island, it's a lot. I have a lot of clients that are excited because there are spas here, and you know, it's but they're not. My niche is natural beauty, so I only use fruits and vegetables and herbs on your skin. That's different. You know,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not a dermatologist. I'm not going to prescribe you a medicine. You know, I actually have a lot of clients that come to me that have been to dermatologists. The medicine actually heals whatever the issue is, but it leaves a mark, you know, and that's what medicine does. It may treat one thing, but then it causes something else. But when you learn naturally how to care for yourself inside out, holistically, you know, it's a different ball game. So the clients are excited. They're excited to get in my chair, you know, and I'm excited to have them. I'm excited to start really having courses and just teaching women how to care for themselves inside out.
I love that. Tanisha says not many will show you how to care for your natural skin. And I think that's one of the things, we're getting like makeup that covers, but not necessarily cures. I would love to know. So, like, if we need to leave today and we say, what's one thing we need to be like eating, digesting something, or putting on our skin naturally to make our skin better? Because you're glowing. Like,
Thank you.
what should we say? All right, I'm going to the store to pick this up now.
Aloe, aloe. Use aloe every single day on your skin.
Oh wow.
Aloe, it has so many properties that's beneficial, and it heals. So the what you're seeing is a result is hydrating. So in the wintertime when you're being sucked, depleted of your the hydration in your skin, aloe is a natural hydrant. Aloe is also a good protectant from the sun. It soothes your skin. Um, but let me add this: the most important to see results, you have to be consistent. So the most important steps to have beautiful glowing skin is cleansing, toning, and moisturizing. And to know the best products to use for your skin, you have to know your skin type. So
Hmm.
whether you're normal, combination, or oily, the skin depends on the type of cream that you would use as a moisturizer versus an oil. What you would use a mist versus more of an astringent, like a witch hazel, or you know your cleansers. So it's first getting to know yourself, your skin, because you can use a product and you have oily skin that causes your skin to produce more oils. Now you having breakouts. So it's just to educate yourself first on your skin type. And then from there is to really be serious, like when you look in the mirror every morning at yourself, because everyone has something they want to improve. But when you can just be consistent in your 3 steps, trust me, you'll see results. And drink water with lime every morning. Let
Mm.
that be the first thing that touches your tongue is water with lime. It's a good, it balances your pH, your alkaline. It also helps you be regular. So, drinking that water with lime, next thing you know, you're going to go to the bathroom and release. So that's the first thing. Because when you're congested, constipated, that produces other problems too. So now you got your environment, you have your workplace. So it could be you work in a kitchen and you work around grease. So all of these
Mm.
things are factors in caring for yourself and becoming the best you. It's just really getting to know yourself better. So I definitely recommend aloe. We have most of our products they have aloe in them because it's such a great benefit all around. And I really wish that it was more accessible. Like it's fields. When I tell you it's fields of aloe around me. But in
Oh my
America,
God.
I think for a leaf, it may be $3, and it's not. I would love to be able to send aloe. But of course, when it comes to certain things, America doesn't want it in. Just like it's a noni tree. I don't know if your viewers have heard of noni, but it's close to like the acai berry. But when you look and see all of what the noni does, it doesn't smell good. They call it the puke fruit. But what it does, like gout, diabetes, cures cancer. Yes,
Oh wow.
I have generations. Like I all of my neighbors are 80 and older, still driving, still moving around. This is their lifestyle. Moringa. You really see people growing to an old age here, and they're not like
A
sickly.
healthy old age. Yeah.
Yeah, they're glowing, their skin is glowing, it's tight, they're vibrant, they're good energy. That's what I aspire, not just for
Mm.
myself, but for my sisters and my brothers. So I really just that's my mission is to promote a healthy lifestyle inside out. And that means your skin and also your way of life because stress is a major cause of
Mm.
skin issues too. So you can be taking care of your skin, but if you're at a job or if you're living in a place where you have to be surrounded by violence and all that, you just have anxiety, you're still uneasy. So you have to get to a place in your life where you are like, okay, where you are truly at peace. And then from there, everything changes.
Now, are you shipping these products back to the States? So not the raw aloe, there's an issue getting that to the States, but are you shipping some of your other products to the States?
I am. So that's what we're working on is the logistics of all of that. We have created a soap, a cleanser with cucumber and turmeric and aloe, of course. That's like our number one bestseller here. We have a scrub, but we also have products that are already in America right now. But when it comes to just the other outside of the skincare, when I'm talking about these plants that are here, in particular the noni. I'm on it, trying to figure out, okay, if we could get this into a powder, because I just want your viewers, NONI, look it up. And you can't grow it in North America. It has to be grown in the
In the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
But if we can get this formulated into a powder or any, I mean, you can order it online. Well, when I went to Amazon, the one place that did have the noni juice, it was out of stock. So I don't even know if it's available in America right now. But yes. Look, I'm on a mission for this healthy lifestyle. So I'm gonna do what I need to do legally and lawfully to provide that service globally, worldwide.
Oh, I love it. Now, are they going to be able to see that? I know you're updating the website right now, but We Left to Live, are they going to be able to see some of that information there, or are you going to tell them there how to get these products?
So the beauty aspect is on my beauty page. It's boutique, BEAUTIQ, boutique.world on Instagram. So we're just working on the website, right? It's going to be posted in the link on Instagram. But yes, they'll have access to all of that information, and just so it will be accessible in the near future. Let's say that. But right now, the noni is not on there, but all of the other products, yes. When the website goes live again, they will be able to see it.
Perfect. And I know you got your head wrap on. You're selling those as well, right?
Yes, they're pre-tied. Well, actually, I tied this one. I get fabrics from Africa, from Senegalese, and some are made in Africa, some are made in Cartagena, Colombia, but they're pre-tied head wraps because, we not only, because my hair is done right now, but I just think it adds a flair, and it's like a goddess feel with when I wear my head wraps. I feel godly and beautiful. So along with being protectants for your hair, they're stylish. And yes, they're also on the website as well. They're called balakas. Balakas, yes.
Oh, okay. So we got to get those too. So all the products and all that. So they're going to check that out on boutique.world on Instagram. And so then they'll be able to
follow me on boutique.world. And we're like diligently working on getting the website back up tonight. So by tomorrow, you'll be able to go on and view everything that we do have.
I love it because I'm like, okay, I need some aloe, and
yes,
and it's always good when you know, but it's true when you go to other countries and you see older women and they still moving fine. That's one thing. Skin looking amazing, and you're like, I'm trying to get there. You start to see the value more, maybe not as much in your teens and 20s, but as you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, you're like, okay, I need to
I can feel like that. What's your secret? Yes, that's definitely that's my inspiration. I'm telling you, it's really just seeing, and it's not even the woman that's like I said, my age, it's the older one. And a lot of but the information I get is from them. It's from my elders here. And I'm so grateful and thankful because I learned a lot about nature and beauty in school, but it's the other aspects of the world and the plants and the benefits that you get, the one-on-one information. It really makes a difference. So now that I'm able to convey it better to my clients and offer certain things that are just not available in America. They're not, you wouldn't even have an idea that they even exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know you might have heard of moringa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's growing wild everywhere here. Pumpkins. I mean, everything. Right now, we have pumpkins in our yard. We have peppers. We have pomegranates. Everything. So the goal is to really have a garden of we could just go and pick everything that we
Fresh
want.
for
And
the
let
night.
me tell you how it all comes full circle. When I was younger, that's how I grew up. My grandmother, she had a garden. She had a pool. So that's my affection for water, my love for water, is just being young, growing up in that environment and actually seeing my grandmother pick the peas and going out there getting the greens and planting tomatoes. So now, and she's passed away now, but that's really, like, I'm like, wow, I'm really my grandmother's grandchild, like I'm
Those
really doing
genes
it.
are in you, yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, right now, I'm like the only one doing this. Her kids are not doing it, none of her other grandchildren. So it's big for me. It's big for me to change the trajectory of my family's history. That's major for me. And part of that is just being aware of what surrounds you. What can I do to make the world a better place? And when you see that a lot of what you can do is right there and arm's reach, and all you have to do is apply yourself and then go and share the information, that's a win-win.
It's like you can't help but to see all the possibilities. And I always say sometimes people are limited by their vision. And so then they see you and they're like, wait, okay, maybe I can. Maybe I'll put this on my list. Maybe I'm gonna do this too. And it's just creating that vision of so much more that is possible out there. And so you had the vision, but your vision, thank you for sharing that with us. And so we've already had a few folks like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming through.
Yes, come on.
Too.
I'm waiting for you all. And let me tell you about Curacao. It's always something happening here. It's a beautiful island, but it's full of a lot of things to do, even though it's an island, right? I haven't, in 9 months, I haven't got bored yet. It's over 30 beaches here, 30.
Oh my goodness.
And aside from that, when we just feel like, do you ever get tired of being on the island? And well, if we want to do something, we can go visit Colombia, we can go to Aruba, we can go to Bonaire, we can go to Saba, we can go to St. Martin. We're surrounded. It's nothing stop, and that's the beauty also of living in South America. Trying to go visit a place, to go back to America, and go back, and that's costly, especially when it's 6 of us that we pay plane tickets for. So it's definitely a great place. Like, this is a bucket list place for a lot of people. I know that it's so much of a desired place to visit that the Dutch, they come here for holiday from the Netherlands. And they already booked their stay for the next year before they leave here.
Just knowing that they're going to come back and enjoy it again.
Yes. So it's definitely somewhere to visit and somewhere maybe to consider, investing. Even if you're my age at 40 and you're not at that retirement age yet, but I look at myself as already being, I'm working on my second, retirement. I did the first one, retired from America. Okay. So if you do have that desire, or you're in the real estate, this is a great place. You don't have to be an agent to do real estate here. I'm a liaison with Max 100 and a couple of other known companies here. And I have the resources to assist you. I have an experience. And if I don't have it, I have the locals that have it. So I will welcome you. Benevidos. That means welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
And this is a good question. I know folks are worried about this one. Sandra says, I heard there's no hurricanes there.
No, we're below the hurricane belt. So you don't experience any of that stuff. Yeah, that was another plus. You don't
And
have
I
to
think
deal with
that's big thinking
any of
about
the.
going down there. You're like, obviously it's going to be hurricanes, but that's a big deciding factor.
No, no hurricanes, no natural disasters.
So you get away from the earthquakes, the hurricanes,
All of that.
all that.
All of that. I mean, you know, like so it's an island, but you don't feel like you're on an island because Curacao is really a it's wide and it's a lot of different parts here, and they have it together. It's let me say this: this is not a third world country. It's not Colombia, and some may even say Colombia is a third world country. And I can beg to differ, you know, because in America, you see, let's just say, homeless people on the streets everywhere you go. And you also see a bunch of empty shell buildings that can house these homeless. However, in Colombia, you don't see homeless. You actually see you actually see shacks. So they use their hands and they built their homes in a lot of places there. I mean, you have regular, buildings and houses, but so I mean, is that third world? Or did they do what was necessary and use what they had to get a roof over
Mhm.
their head? They're I don't know if it's surviving or thriving, but you don't see homelessness. So I just wanted to point that out about Curacao. This is a very thriving country, and it's a lot. They have a lot to offer.
I see Sandra just said she's coming. So you got a couple people that's coming.
Absolutely.
I'm like, it's on my list. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna
Yeah,
get down there too, especially no hurricanes. So you don't have to worry about hurricane season. So
yeah.
that's a plus too.
I'm currently working on curating a couple of different trips, and one of them being a girls trip, and the other being more of an investment trip for those that
Mhm.
are looking to possibly come here to move or retire or invest. So, it'll just be 4 days of getting to know Curacao and the culture. Also, going around to just different properties, speaking with different agents that are here, and just getting a good feel of the island while also having a vacation. So, those are the two trips that we are working on. We have not posted them yet, and I know when we do,
You
I
gotta
want
let
to
us know.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I like intimate trips. Of course, I can help. Like I have groups that come here all the time, and I provide them different services. But something that I'm presenting, I just want it to be more intimate, not because I want to be able to, give each visitor, what they need, the amount of time, information. I just don't want it to be big. So we probably will only have 20, whether it be 10 couples, 20 guests that come the first time. Oh my.
Oh, we might be losing. Are we losing her? Girl, we definitely going. You ain't gotta say, listen, when we going, we going. I already put it on my list because I'm like, yes, it is perfect and it is out of the norm of what we traditionally or what we typically hear in terms of some of the popular spaces. And knowing that it's a place where you don't even have to convert your cash, you can get down there, avoid a lot of the craziness, and it's not the cheapest, but it's definitely nowhere near as expensive as the States. And so I think we might have just lost Courtney, but that's okay. And so I want to thank her for being with us today. I want to thank you for joining us as well. And next week, I got something that is super exciting. I am super excited about her and what this can mean for you as well in terms of your future and your story. So keep an eye out for next week. Please be sure to hit the subscribe and turn on notifications. Until next time, Have a good night.